So, how is your investigation progressing?
I found out some things that might interest you.
I thought you might. You seem a resourceful and persistent fellow. Carl Linsky and John Klaus together. This is extremely interesting. Do you mind if I have this photo examined? I'd like to find out exactly when and where it was taken. I'll let you know if I find anything out, okay? Klaus is a scary man. He has a lot of pull in the law and order party. I think he'd run for office if he could, but he doesn't have the image for it. Instead, he sits behind the curtain and pulls the strings. Haven't heard of him. Can't help you there.
What topic would you like us to research? A search for information on John Klaus has been initiated. What other topic would you like us to research? A search for information on Carl Linsky has been. What other topic would you like? A search for Bosworth Clark has been initiated. What other topic? Thank you for using the
Pass card G. Bosworth Clark obviously didn't want to lose this.
I've heard only one reference to STG. It was in a letter sent to me anonymously about a month ago. The letter was sent by someone calling him or herself the Poisoned Pawn. I would have figured it was written by some psychopath, but there was enough verifiable information to make me take it seriously. The letter said that there was a project called STG, which was in the process of being swallowed up by law and order. The letter advised us to check out John Klaus, STG, and law and order's connection to it. I have no idea who it is. We examined the letter for clues to the author's identity, but came up dry. He or she did say that we could contact them through someone named Jorge Valdez. There are a handful of Jorge Valdezes in the area, and I'm sure there are some that aren't listed. I've checked out the ones I could find, but none of them appeared to be the one I was looking for. I have people trying to track down what STG is and does, but they haven't had much luck.
What topic would you like us to research? A search for information. Thank you for using the American. What topic would you like us to research? A search for information on has been. What other a search what a what a what Thank you for
Gideon Enterprises had a little shake-up recently. The chairman of the board, Frank Shimming, pulled a coup on J. St. Gideon, who's now practically out of a job. It was all legal, but underhanded. Rumors have circulated that Shimming is connected to the Law and Order Party. If that's the case, we're gonna have a hard time doing anything to stop them. Gideon Enterprises has more money and power than it knows what to do with. They would make an imposing enemy. Gideon helped us design some of our most valuable and top secret surveillance equipment. We even invited him to join our organization, but he said that he was too old for the cloak and dagger business.
Yes?
Mr. Shimming, my name's Murphy, and I'm looking into the apparent suicide of one of your employees.
Is this an official investigation?
If you're a nice guy and play ball with me, I think we can keep this thing off the record.
I believe it's within my rights to ask for whom you work.
I don't work for anybody. I'm working with Wanda Peck.
So, you're with Capricorn. I thought you people had gotten tired of pestering me.
We know you're a very busy man. A few quick questions and I'll let you get back to ruling the world.
What is it you want this time? Mr. Gideon founded this corporation and brought it to prominence. And he did this despite mediocre business skills, which have diminished along with his general mental state over the past several years. He became obsessed with pet projects and was leading the company in a counterproductive direction. And for that reason, the board of directors saw fit to limit his authority in business matters.
So what does Mr. Gideon think about all of this?
Why don't you ask him yourself? I'm sure he'd appreciate a visit from someone other than nurses and wheelchair repairmen. I'll let you know where to find him.
You actually met J. St. Gideon? In person?
Yeah. Want my autograph?
Well, what was he like? What about the mansion? Oh, I heard it was spectacular.
A little garish for my taste, but nice. The mansion, on the other hand...
Very funny.
Little flat you've got here.
You must find it ostentatious. I admit I do as well. It's certainly too much home for only one person.
You don't live here alone, do you?
I'm afraid so. My fortune has provided me with a fully automated, self-sufficient existence. I suppose my disability has given me an aversion to reliance on others. I want for nothing. Except perhaps human companionship. And that only after my somewhat forced semi-retirement.
Well, don't you worry about your safety. I mean, given your condition.
Gideon Enterprises defines state-of-the-art with regard to security systems. I am surrounded, perhaps imprisoned, by the very finest electronic moat. No, I don't worry about my safety, though I thank you for your concern. Now, to what do I owe this welcome visit?
I'm investigating the death of Carl Linsky. He was an employee in your corporation.
Oh, no, Gideon Enterprises is no longer mine, I'm afraid. I'm sure that Frank Shimming would be a better source of information than I.
I already talked with Frank Shimming. He was about as helpful as a DMV employee in the middle of his 2-week notice.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I won't mince words. I don't like Shimming. My complete trust in him was repaid with his exploiting my lack of management acumen, then usurping my position as head of Gideon.
But you're still president of the corporation.
Oh, yes. I have no more real authority to run my company than the King of England has to run his country. I'm merely a figurehead, nothing more.
Why don't you just sack him, as the English say?
Even if I could, what would be the point, huh? My time is past. I'm as outdated as this antique. Such is the cutthroat nature of business. Though I dare say the world itself has become nothing more than a business run by a select few.
I'm not sure I agree, Mr. Gideon. I think there are a lot of people out there who want to make the world a better place.
Oh? And you, my fine friend, how do you intend to make the world a better place?
I don't know. Keep an open mind, respect others, buy Girl Scout cookies.
You think this will make a difference?
I think if enough people care, it just might catch on.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I used to think like you at one time. But idealism costs nothing, and I lived on it for many years. But its taste is bittersweet. It's in large part the reason why I can no longer walk. You'd like to hear what happened, wouldn't you?
I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I've been in this damn cage for more years than I care to remember. I've had to grow accustomed to it. It was 2013. I was in Geneva to attend a covert meeting of UN operatives. There were 14 of us, and at least one was a traitor, armed with an explosive device. I was the only survivor.
Did you ever find out who it was?
No. It could have been any one of a score of countries or organizations. Well, I don't suppose it matters anymore. It was the beginning of the end. There are no heroes anymore, only villains of varying degrees.
What about Capricorn? You support what they do, don't you?
Oh, Capricorn does what they do, but they're merely fighting the good fight. Oh, greed and corruption have the upper hand. When I was younger, I sincerely believed we could achieve a semblance of global order and harmony. That was only the foolish dream of a youthful idealist. Once I was crippled, I was no longer of use. No, I was turned loose into the world. A cruel and deadly steeplechase where survival was a matter of social Darwinism. I was lost. I believed that my handicap had denied me my destiny. Years and years passed before I realized that I still had much to offer. With little more than a plan, I laid the foundations of Gideon Enterprises. Among the mutant population, I found other social misfits whose skills and talents had been overshadowed by their physical abnormalities. Oh, those were difficult times. We were openly ridiculed. Finding investors and financing was an often humiliating series of rejections. How could someone like myself, a cripple, ever hope to accomplish such a venture? But eventually, we did succeed, becoming the wealthiest and most powerful corporation of its type in the world. I had recaptured the idealism of my youth, the belief that through sacrifice, commitment, and hard work, anything was possible. But then it happened again. In the blink of an eye, all those years of investment and careful nurturing were torn from me by thieves and liars masquerading as board members and stockholders. And now, towering over them all is Frank Shimming. His disregard for integrity is matched only by his worship of dividends and profit margins. So nothing has happened. I have come full circle. And once again, I'm unwanted, unneeded, and facing a purposeless existence. So you listen to me. If you insist on striding through life, arms laden with hope, you will only meet with one devastating disappointment after another. Oh, please forgive me, Mr. Murphy. You must be a very busy man. I must apologize for monopolizing your time with my ramblings.
I don't mind.
Oh, it's good of you to indulge me. It's just that I receive so few visitors these days. But we must return to your investigation. Please, tell me what I can do to assist you. Mr. Mr. Valdez runs a chess shop called the Rank and File in the Old City. We play quite often over the Ethernet. Yes, he's one of the few worthy opponents I've found. The Law and Order Party is merely a Machiavellian byproduct of our society's decay. Their goals are not altogether unworthy, but those ends do not justify their means. But unfortunately, they've struck a chord with the public. And with an appealing candidate like Robert Knott, they will surely gain a great deal of power. While I don't know him personally, my instincts tell me that Mr. Knott is a man of integrity. But I've been wrong before. I only know, I should say knew, him by reputation. He was an outstanding neurologist in his time. I read about his suicide in the newspapers.
The rank and file was right in the middle of the old city.
Wasn't this back when they still called it Freak Town?
Yeah, the Mutant League was in high gear at the time, and the whole mutant norm thing was just starting to heat up. I got more than a few nasty looks when I showed up at the chess shop. How's the game going?
Welcome to the rank and file. What can I do for you?
Well, one of the pawns from my chess set is very, very sick. I think he may have been poisoned. Anything you can do to help?
What kind of chess set do you have?
Well, I guess I'm a bit of a purist, but I believe that chess should be played the way it was intended. 30 men and 2 women in a literal fight to the death.
What you're talking about is illegal.
Chess is so boring. I have to do something to liven it up.
Call this a hunch. But you're not here to ask me about chess, are you? What do you want?
My name's Tex Murphy. I'm a private investigator.
Look, I don't want any trouble.
And there isn't going to be any trouble if you'll just come up with some information.
Okay, shoot. Poisoned pawn is a chess term. It refers to an apparently unprotected pawn whose capture leads to dire consequences. If I had to guess, I'd say the author of the anonymous letter felt like he was the first link in a dark chain. Nice guy. He used to come in here occasionally. I read in the paper that he killed himself. It's too bad. Knott is the pretty facade that disguises the law and order party's war machine. Mr. Gideon's been a friend of the mutants for years, unlike most people in his social strata. He's a great man. It makes me angry as hell to think what Shimming did to him. He's more than a bad man. He's evil. To someone like him, money and power are everything. Why are you asking about me? I'm just a source of information to someone like you. Back when I was a programmer, I worked there for a couple of years, until shimming took over. Everything changed for the worse. It was like working under Stalin. I haven't heard anything about it. You know what the Law and Order Party is? It's the Fourth Reich. They won't rest until every mutant is deported, imprisoned, or dead.
Tex Murphy here.
Are you investigating the death of Carl Linsky?
Well, it depends. Who's asking?
A friend. Just a friend.
You're not calling to see whether I need my carpets cleaned, are you?
No.
So what do you need?
The question is, what do you need?
Well, a good home-cooked meal would be nice, but other than that, I need a lead.
A University of San Francisco professor, Val Davis, died in a speeder crash last week.
Well, that's interesting, but it's not much of a lead, is it?
Davis was working on the STG project with Linsky.
Okay. Now you've got my attention.
There are answers to be found in Davis's laboratory on the U.S.F. campus, Building C. If you get there within the hour, the doors will be unlocked.
Okay, I'm on my way, but what am I looking for?
The chess move. I'll be watching. When you find it, I'll contact you again.
Ooh, intriguing. So who was the mysterious informant?
I had no idea at the time.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
I'll tell you this. I didn't waste any time getting over to the U.S.F. campus and into Val Davis's lab. Sure enough, it was unlocked, and I started looking around.